Grease is on. I'm watching that after this. Well, hello and welcome to my princess hair tutorial. I don't know why I did this. Maybe I'm gonna add some text here. Princess hair tutorial. Very recently, I have been asked quite a lot about how I get my so effortless princess hair look. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's not that effortless. It's kind of a little bit of effort. But it does look like I just woke up in a field after frolicking and I found some berries and I fell asleep eating those berries and I woke up surrounded by deer and mice and little birdies. Which I did, of course. Anyways, I am going to tell you about how I do my mostly heatless curls, with the exception of my bangs, which I actually use a straightener for because I want to have more control. More on that later. Here are the items that you will need. First thing you're gonna need is a cozy curler, 2 to be exact. If you want to use more, that's up to you, but I'm gonna show you how to use 2 cozy curlers, and I will link everything in the description for you. I think it's really great because of this netting that goes over it. It just makes it into a really great curl, and I find that they hold really well in the night. A wet brush, 4 of these little clips that don't leave an indentation in your hair, 2 silk scrunchies, or you can use satin, but try and make sure they're either silk or satin so it doesn't leave an indentation in your hair, a water spray bottle, a hair straightener, preferably not one without a huge barrel because this is going to be for your bangs, a rat tail comb, and something that looks like this. I know this is kind of weird. It's what I had laying around. It's a play on this little doodad, which you may have seen people clip it on the top and wrap their hair around. I find that these slip off my hair really, really easily. So I use this instead. You might want to make something like this because it's pretty simple, just has a little bit of stuffing, or you can tie a couple socks together, something that you can clip on the top of your head so it won't move while you're sleeping. And you're gonna wanna start with absolutely bone dry hair, no moisture. And if you have a problem with frizzing, I find that this technique doesn't really make your hair frizz too much as long as you don't put too much water at the bottom of your hair. But if you do have a problem with frizzing, you might want to get like a hair oil or a pomade or even a setting lotion to kind of help with the frizz that you put on before you put your curlers in. I think setting lotion would probably be your best bet. I don't use any of that, but if you have a problem with that, I would give that a shot. Also, I just want to mention that if you're here to find out how I get my beautiful, full, gorgeous hair, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Okay, it's not really a secret because I've told you guys this before. If you didn't know, I have hair extensions. I have hair extensions in 100% of the time. About 90% of my hair is hair extensions. I have extremely fine hair. So if you're here to figure out how I grow my hair so long and so thick, this is not the hair tutorial for you, I'm sorry. But I do think it's really important to be upfront and honest about the fact that I have hair extensions because my hair was always a really big point of self-consciousness for me growing up because I had such fine, baby fine hair. So if that is you, there are options like clip-in hair extensions. I used a halo extension for a long time. It works beautifully. It doesn't cause any damage at all. The only problem with that is it does leave an indent in your hair. I personally like to do keratin bond extensions and I do them with my salon in Temecula. Stacy at All About You Hair and Makeup does both my extensions and my highlights. She's insanely good. She's incredible. And I drive about an hour and 20 minutes both ways to see her once every 2 months. So I will link her down below if you're in the Southern California area. Highly recommend. And because the top of my hair doesn't have any extensions in it, my technique is actually made for fine hair. So it's gonna give me a lot of volume and it's gonna give the fine haired ladies a lot of volume as well. So even if you do have fine hair, I highly recommend you follow this hair tutorial. And I think it'll give you a lot of beautiful curls and volume that you're looking for. So I'm gonna go wash my hair so it's completely straight. Then we're gonna put the curlers in. I'm gonna sleep in them overnight. And in the morning, we're gonna see what the hairstyle looks like. Okay, see you in a bit. And we're back. So this is what my hair looks like without any curls in it. Quite long, no? So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is get out your cozy cozy curlers. So I'm gonna start in the back of my head. I always put a cozy curler back here so I can add some volume to the back of my hair, because if you can't tell, it is quite straight and flat, and because my extensions end right here, all this is my natural hair and it is about the flattest. So in order to give myself some body, I put a cozy curler back there. It also helps to hide my hair extensions back there because I have a cowlick. What I want to do is start with like right here, just before my heart, and separate it to like a good little circle around my head. So I use about this much. And it doesn't have to be exactly precise because all the curls end up blending. And this piece back here is really just to add volume. So I'm going to go ahead and brush it upwards because again, we want to like put the curler kind of up. Now we're going to use our water. You want your hair to be damp but not too wet, especially at the ends, because then you're gonna have like a frizzy mess in the morning. So I'm going to get my hair pretty wet because this is a big piece. Brush it through. You can also do this on dry hair, but I like the way it looks once the curl mellows out. So like when you first take your curlers out, your hair's gonna be super curly, but then your curls are gonna fall throughout the day. And I just like the way it falls when I have a little bit of moisture in my hair. So it's not quite wet enough. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more. Again, this is gonna be like, you're gonna mess up a couple times and you're gonna have some frizzy hair, but you're gonna learn very quickly, I think. I'm gonna take my cozy curler with my hair pulled completely up so that it gives it that volume, not like off to the side, otherwise you're not really gonna give yourself enough volume. Gosh, I need to change. Let me go like this. Okay, here we go. So my hair's so long. Okay, so taking your cozy curler, I squish it down a bit because I want a little bit tighter of a curl. So you can actually control like how curly you want your hair to be depending on how tightly you wrap around the cozy curler. So I'm gonna just curl it down, making sure to get everything in there. So instead of curling it this way, take the curler and take it back this way. That's gonna give you a little bump, your little schnooky bump, because that's gonna give you the volume you want. And then you're just gonna take the little net that's attached to it, make sure it's not all twisted, and wrap it around like that. And you got a little bun on top of your head. So here's what that's going to look like. All right, you could probably see my extensions pretty well now because I have my hair pulled up right where my extensions hit. And then I'm gonna take another cozy curler, and you can use as many cozy curlers as you want. One time I put them like all over my head and I look like Shirley Temple. So next I'm going to gather up my bangs and kind of just get them out of the way. I have some like rogue hairs that really wanna be bangs. And I'm gonna take one of these clips that doesn't add an indentation and put it right there and push my bangs away for now. And then I'm going to take this much hair on the side and this much hair on the side, not taking any from the back, just the side like this, down this way, and pull this much up from either side. And this is also to add volume. Brush it up. Make sure that you're brushing your hair before you put it in the curlers. You want everything to be even, nice and even, and not to like be bumpy and curls to be crooked. I'm gonna add some water to this, brush it again to make sure it's evenly wet through the hair. And then I'm gonna take my hair straight up, just like I did with the back, like a troll. And then just like with the back, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it straight down. I take it the opposite way and wrap it around. And just so you know, like this is gonna be crazy looking. You're gonna look like a crazy person. Like, look at me. I look absolutely nuts. But don't worry, it makes sense later. Like it all works out in the end, but right now you gotta look like a little bit like a crazy person. For this next part, a lot of people use something like this to go like right in the middle. But a lot of people don't. Honestly, like if you're doing this, most people won't do this as well. I just find that the hair in the back is too flat. It doesn't give me the look that I want. That's why I do these, because I want more volume at the top. And I don't want it to be so flat at the back as it would be if you just used this tool. I like experimented a whole bunch to try and figure out what would work for me. I actually completely abandoned my chair. I'm just like on my knees and looking at the camera. Anyways, I found this little octopus looking thing. This thing's horrible. It's absolutely awful. It made this part flat, and then, I mean, it just was like, it was too much. However, it did come with 2 extra leggies that you could like attach on right here. I use those. So what you could use instead is maybe like a couple socks tied together, because this is really simple. It's just a little bit of fabric with some stuffing in it. You do not have to buy this whole thing to get this. It's just something that I had and I didn't return it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna use this bit then. I like it because it's flat here and I can put it right between my little buns and pin it down for the night. So I'm gonna take my little pins that don't leave any indentations and I'm going to pin them on either side. This helps to keep my hair in place. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is split your hair in half in the back. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to look in the mirror to do it. You can just use your hands and kind of feel it out. And then you're gonna take this hair and you're gonna wet it just like the others. Okay, brush it through in order to make sure everything got a little bit wet. Then I'm gonna take my little, whatever you call this, down. I'm gonna take a section of hair, and I usually do sections about this big. And on this side, for some reason, I think I have more hair on this side, it ends up being like 2 sections. So I'm gonna take the first section and all wrapping it away from your head, you take it once and wrap it once. And then you take the other section that you have left and you take it up to meet the section that you have up there. So now it's like one giant pony, and you're gonna wanna take that hair and wrap it. And when I do this, I kind of give it a little spin too, so that the hair is kind of like tightly wrapping around and there's no like flyaways. So you can even just do like a little this, spin the hair and wrap it as tightly as you care to. This is about how tight I go. As high up as possible, because as you sleep, it's going to slide down. And then you're gonna wanna take a scrunchie, preferably a silk scrunchie, because that's not gonna leave any indentations in your hair. And you're going to want to secure your hair in place starting at the bottom and then maybe a little bit up higher. And then it's gonna look like this. So that's what you have so far on this side. And now I'm going to do the other side, trying as best as I can to match the 2 sides so that they're the same tightness around. So I have more hair on the side for whatever reason. So I'm gonna wet it a little bit more. Brushing through. Then I'm gonna take my little section from the back forward. So I got my section here. It's a little bit more than the other side, but it doesn't make too much of a difference. Everything kind of blends in. And just like with the other section, I am going to wrap it away from my face once and bring it around. Then I'm going to take another section. So you can see like my hair is not super damp. It doesn't have to be so wet, just enough for it to hold the curl, but also that it'll be dry in the morning. You know what I mean? You don't want your hair to be so wet that it's not gonna dry by the time you wake up. So just like the other side, I'm going to join the 2 sides and gonna give it a little twist, wrapping it just to keep the hair kind of in place. Wrapping it around. And this side always looks different than the other side, but It doesn't really matter. It all ends up looking the same. So this side is sometimes tighter than this side. And I got to see this little hair. You don't want that. You want to tuck that in. So I'm going to get rid of this because that's going to make my hair kind of like not curl right. If you ever have like one side that's tighter than the other, you can always just twist it more from the base to make it tighter, or untwist it a little bit to make it looser so that both sides match in how tight they are wrapped around the, whatever you call this. So the very last thing I do, I use my rat tail comb and I part my bangs straight down the middle. It's hard because I'm doing this like in my camera without a mirror, but I do it every night, so I'm pretty used to it. And then my bangs are the only thing that I don't use heatless for because I want the most control over them. So for me, I just pin them back and get them out of the way. And there you have it. Absolutely nuts looking, but the results are amazing. Sometimes you gotta look crazy to look great. So here is what everything is looking like. Take a good look at this craziness. So I'm gonna go to sleep. I'll see you guys in the morning, and then we'll take out this beautiful masterpiece and see what we're working with. Good night. I love ya. Mwah. Well, hello and good morning. I am a little bit sick today, and I have my daughter Summer who's homesick as well, but I'm powering through and I'm gonna try and muster as much bravado as humanly possible. And I've also had a lot of energy drinks, so we're ready to go. So actually my hair held up pretty good last night. Sometimes when I like sleep on my side, everything's looking a little crazy. But even when it looks super crazy, most of the time it still comes out pretty good. So don't worry about it too much. So now let's take everything out and see if it turned out okay. So the first thing I do is take out these rubber bands. Hair ties? Yes, hair ties. My brain is a little slow today. We're doing our best. By we, I mean I, myself, I am. And then I kind of like pull these down and loosen them up. I don't want my curls to get all weird, so I usually pop these little guys out that secured my hair. Hold it at the bottom. Look at that curl, baby. Okay, hold it at the bottom and pull it off. And you can just do the same with this. Just gently. You don't want to mess anything up. Okay, we're very curled. Look at that. This side's definitely more curled than the other, as you can see, but don't worry. Everything's gonna fall into place. Don't worry, it's gonna look good. Next, I'm gonna take out my cozy curler in the back. These tend to frizz more just because of the material, but again, no worries. Make sure all the curls are going the same way and just drop it and leave it. See all that body it gives it by being back there? And then I'm gonna take out this one that's right on the top. Ooh, make sure my curl is all going the same way. Now that we're looking so fabulous, so amazing, I'm just gonna like let these curls kind of just do their thing for a bit while I work. Oh Lord, looks gorgeous. Okay, now I'm gonna get my rat tail comb, which I forgot. Let me go grab it. Hang on. Okay, rat tail comb. I am in a goofy, silly mood. Go ahead and take your rat tail comb and give yourself a nice part down the middle. I'm doing all of this on the camera. Then we're gonna work on the bangs. So I do have like a slight diagonal cut to my bangs. It doesn't really matter. Like a slight diagonal cut or even just straight across, you can make both of those work. So you wanna make these curls look somewhat effortless. Almost like you're just like a little hobbit in the forest and you just have like naturally beautiful curly hair when really it was like a good amount of work to get that. So I'm gonna take my straightener. I have it at 340 degrees. You're gonna take your bangs laid flat out like this. You're gonna take them up a little bit because everything's gonna drop up a little bit and then twist and kind of pull down a little bit. So it's angled down more. So this is how it's gonna start, and you're gonna wanna mess with it a little bit and kind of put it where you want. And remember that it will fall and it will change its shape. So if it's not exactly what you want right off the bat, don't worry about it. Just let it cool for a little bit, let it chill there. If you go right in with the straightener right after you already did it, you're gonna make yourself a mess and you're gonna flatten out your bangs. So give it time to cool, see where it falls and where it's at before you decide you wanna go back in with the straightener. So now we're gonna do the other side and we're gonna pull up again. So it's gonna be like this. Definitely need to get my roots done. And up a little bit, curling, and a little bit of a pull downwards. And there you have it. So here is how my bangs start. I'm gonna give them some time to kind of do their thing. And if you do have any like little bumpies up here that are like too much, you can always flatten them out with the straightening iron. Mine aren't too bad today, but sometimes you get a little bit of a indentation at the top. And then I'm just gonna take my hands through my curls and kind of loosen them up a bit. As you can see, this is where all those lovely curls come from. Completely heatless, which is amazing. Yeah, I'm liking how this turned out. So after you separate your curls a little bit, you can either leave your curls like this if you want to, and they'll eventually drop and be so gorgeous and beautiful. I mean, heatless, completely heatless. I can't believe I spent so much time curling my hair with a curling iron. Like, it would take me like an hour every day, which is nuts. So you can leave it like this if you want, but I take a brush, and you can use like a wet brush. Got a wet brush here, and they're all full of hair. I probably should have taken it out before I did this video. Anyways, but I also have this brush, which comes with my hair extensions that Stacy does. And of course I will link her down below. And this is where, for me, the look really comes together. I love brushing this out. And you don't have to worry about, like, don't brush it too much, but you don't have to worry about the curls going away. They're pretty much there. They're all day. And there you have it. There it is. Ugh. Every time I'm like, amazing, shock and surprise, looks wonderful. And the bangs, I might want to do a little this, kind of tuck them in a little bit. You can hairspray it. If I'm going somewhere, I hairspray my bangs because they don't stay as well as the rest of my hair. But if I'm home, I don't hairspray, just kind of let them do their thing. And if they fall a little bit too much, you can just touch them up, no big deal. So here is the final look. It looks so good. I'm so happy with it. I'm so glad that I'm protecting my hair and not using like heat. It just looks amazing. Like I look like I'm like ready for Hobbiton or like a castle, either way. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial. I will link everything in the description down below for you. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I will do my best to get to everybody and answer all of your questions. And I hope too this encourages you to try out heatless curls because it's so much better to just wake up and your like curls are already there. It's amazing. It's so fast. You save so much time not actually curling your hair. So I highly recommend you give it a try and let me know what the results are like for you in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye. Not Disney princess, but Fiona.